the racist regime has announced that there's a state of emergency. Is a non-violent organization.
My name is Lukhanyo Calata, and today is one of the biggest days of my life. I've been preparing for it for the past 25 years. I'm leaving Cape Town, where I've worked as a journalist for 7 years. I'm going home to Cradock, a rural town in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. I want to ask for my mother's permission and her support so I may deal with some unfinished business.
Hello ma'am, can I have a slip please? I want to find out the truth about the murder of my father and his colleagues. You know, it's been such a long time. We don't know the truth, and there hasn't been any closure for us because there hasn't been any finality on this matter.
My father's name was Fort Calata. He came from a political family in Cradock. By the time he married my mother, Nomonde, in 1980 at the age of 24, he had been politically active for a few years. My mother often told me that this was largely due to his grandfather's influence, Reverend James Arthur Calata, or Tato as he was affectionately called in my family. My great-grandfather was an extraordinary man, a treason trialist in 1956 who had a long and what some would call an illustrious career in the African National Congress. He had served as the Secretary General of the Liberation Movement from 1936 to 1949. To this day, my great-grandfather, Reverend James Arthur Calata, remains the longest-serving Secretary General of the ANC in its 98 years of history. Driving into Cradock, I can see how many can easily dismiss my hometown as a mere Karoo dorpie in the middle of nowhere. Yet, 25 years ago, during the turbulent and violent 80s, the apartheid government regularly referred to Cradock as the epicenter of South Africa's revolution.
Where's the main road? Because
My father, Fort Calata, alongside his friends and comrades Matthew Goniwe, Sparom Konto and others, were among the leaders of that revolution.
It's scary. I'm a little bit nervous. I know that I'm gonna have to ask my mother and the Sis Nyami and all the other widows to go somewhere where, you know, they haven't really visited in a very long time. I'm gonna have to go somewhere where I haven't been in a very long time because I have kind of blocked certain things off over the years.
Evil forces within the apartheid regime, however, would make sure that my father and his colleagues would never see the freedom they so bravely fought for. On the morning of June 27, 1985, my father and his colleagues, Matthew Goniwe, Sparom Konto and Sicelo Mhlawuli, left Cradock to attend a briefing of the United Democratic Front in Port Elizabeth. That morning was the last time my mother, my sister and I would see my father and his colleagues alive. While driving back to Cradock after attending a meeting of the United Democratic Front in Port Elizabeth, my father and his 3 colleagues were ambushed by state security forces. These policemen were under strict orders from the highest ranks in the apartheid government and military to kill them. On the night my father was killed, I was 3 years old. My older sister Dorothy was just days away from her 10th birthday. My mother was 26 years old and 7 months pregnant with my youngest sister, Tomani.
I don't even want to think back of that day, Bonange, because I never wanted to accept to go to Fort Swelekile that day. Then Sivangayo Swelekile, but then, okay, Swelekile. Ubomba vela bachinja kwa dark kumna konba. I don't know. Bandiza uyaphi ngoku ndizawuthini ngoku. I was very, very, very hurt. Ndandikrazukile inhliziyo yami yayikrazukile nyanyanyana yayibuhlungu inhliziyo yami. That is why till today ngingakwazi umlibala. It is because whenever I think of that, I want to cry. And I feel that crying is something that helps me a little bit. And that is the honest truth. Whenever I think that my husband was killed, I just want to cry because I don't know how to explain the feeling in the woman. Nobody feeling anger, nobody feeling a heartbroken feeling or what. But I become weaker. The only thing influence on it's to cry. And I want to overcome the crying, but it's just something that I can't control.
Their bodies were found several days later in dense bushes just outside Port Elizabeth. They had been stabbed, shot, mutilated, and burnt, allegedly to hide their identities. My father, Fort Calata, and his comrades Matthew Goniwe, Sparom Konto, and Sigalo Mhlauli became known as the Cradock Four. On July 20th, 1985, the day of their funeral, 60,000 mourners defied a government ban to be in Cradock.
And I want to say to the South African government, do not protect those people. Yes. Why have you created a climate in this country in which our children can be shot down in the streets by a policeman and that policeman can get away with it?
On that same afternoon, State President P.W. Botha declared South Africa's first state of emergency since the Sharpeville massacre.
Emergency in the following magisterial districts.
It's been 25 years since that fateful night, yet their killers are still out there, and justice continues to evade us, their surviving families.
As you say, just 25 years is such a long time. We might not even be able to witness that day when we feel now, okay, justice has been done. To some degree, it's also beyond our control because we're waiting for the authorities to do something about that. In that kind of regard, we're feeling very helpless because it feels like there's little that we can do.
In 1998, 6 police officers from Port Elizabeth were denied amnesty by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for the murders of my father and his colleagues.
So what we were expecting, if somebody doesn't get amnesty, that person has to be prosecuted.
I sort of sometimes feel that it's been too much. We've been waiting for something that we don't even know the nature of whatever we're waiting for is going to be.
My mother, Mrs. Goniwe, and Mrs. Mkonto all feel let down by our government's lack of action in further investigating and possibly prosecuting the alleged killers.
We don't know whom to appeal to. We have been we have done almost all our best to try and pressurize, to try in our small ways. So we don't know what needs to happen for that to happen.
There must be investigations about more. Dig out, because some of these people are still alive. The one who have murdered 240 is still alive, young, walking down around the NPE. The one that has killed Obut Matthew is very young. He's there, walking around. Obulele Uscelo, no Sparrow, he's still alive. He's working for the same government. I mean, what's so difficult in getting hold of those people? Yeah, and question them about other things. TRC.
That is what we're expecting from the onset, that justice is going to be carried up to till the end.
Involvement. Your president. Iyafuneka kule case. As a president, he needs ukufumana closure kule nto by instructing whoever, a judge or somebody, so that this thing can go on.
It's very difficult for me as well to see Mama and to see you guys and to hear you talk like this, and there's no closure. So I would like to then ask for permission from you to then be in a position to do that and to go and ask those questions to your authorities.
You're more than welcome to do so.
On my last day in Cradock, my mum and I visit my father's grave, where she asks him for guidance in my quest to seek justice for his life.
You know, after speaking to my mom and Mrs. Goniwe and Mrs. Mkonto yesterday, I realized that it's important for me to really, you know, pursue this thing, because there's obviously no closure for everybody on it. You know, Mrs. Goniwe said something that, you know, that this is unfinished business, that there's a lot of unfinished business still there. So, and I need to try and finish that business. And trying to finish that business, I think, is finding out the truth. And the only people who know the truth are the people that were there on that night. And I think that should actually be my first step, you know, as in I must speak to them, try and find out from them what exactly happened on that night of June 27th, 1985.